session. And here we go. So we're going to go over online teaching today, particularly the forums and how we're integrated with Varsity Learning. Forums are a great resource, and we have them integrated with both the assignments and with the gradebook. Kind of going to show you how both those things work. You can probably see the benefits of using these forums with online teaching this fall without a lot of coaxing. So we'll get right into it. Brief overview of Varsity Learning. For those of you unfamiliar, it's a complete learning platform, but not only that, we have content built in, content for the most popular high school classes from pre-algebra through calculus, including statistics. We are a partner with OpenStax. OpenStax is a nonprofit out of Rice University, and they publish textbooks for the high enrollment courses for college students. So while their courses, their math books are intended for college students, they can work pretty well in Varsity Learning, and they're pretty flexible. And because they're open source, they are also free, just like Varsity Learning. Okay, so if you don't have a course yet, you can click the instructor sign up. That comes to us and we can get a course created for you. Maybe not in the next 30 minutes, but probably in the next 2 hours. So to go ahead and instructor sign up. Once you have a class, you'll just have your kids go to student sign up. They will sign up, you'll give them a course ID, and that's how they enroll in your class. So let's take a look. Let's see, first thing here is the Varsity Learning Support course. So anytime an instructor requests an account, we enroll them in the Varsity Learning Support course. Here are the how-to guides. There's going to be videos posted in here in the next week or so as well. You can ask us questions and encourage the discussion forums here. And then we also have some worksheets that can be pretty valuable for your class. You can download these as Word files or as PDFs for these topics here. So Varsity Learning Support course, you should already be in there. It should be listed under the classes you're taking. If you don't see it, send us an email at support@Varsity Learning, and we'll make sure you're in. Okay. So this is the instructor view. I'm logged in as an instructor. I'm teaching one class here, the OpenStax Elementary Algebra course. If I come over here, I can look at the administrator, and I kind of see all my courses that I'm teaching that I haven't hidden. And 6599. Okay, so this is course ID 6599. So anybody who would like to enroll, if you'd like to kind of play along as I'm doing this demo, you might find it interesting. So 6599. If you were to do that, you would again go to enroll in a new class. So you could do this just like you'll have your students do it. You go enroll in a new class, and your course ID is 6599, and there's no enrollment key. Enrollment keys are optional. This makes it harder for people to just randomly enroll in your course. It's not really a problem. And it's one more thing for you students to get confused about. 6599 if you're interested. It's the OpenStax Elementary Algebra template that we're going to look at today. Okay. So the first thing we see is a calendar. Anything in Varsity Learning can be added or removed. You can add an item from this add an item thing, drop down. You can add an assessment. Most things are an assessment. Just a piece of inline text, a link, a forum, the weekend drill, not that useful, a block. Everything's a block, and then the calendar. So if we want to delete the calendar, it's gone, and then we can add the calendar back by adding the calendar. It's right there. Okay, so not a big lesson on the calendar today, but it's important that you kind of see all the Chapter 1 assignments are on the calendar, due on the 14th. The Chapter 2 assignments are due the 21st. The coloring is kind of like a stoplight. It's automatic. As assignments are closer and closer to the due date, they change color. Assignments that would be due tomorrow, for example, would be in red. And then the gray means the students can't see it yet. Chapter 3 assignments are going to be due on that Friday, but students can't see it because they don't have these assignments are not yet available to students. To look at the dates and change the dates, we would go to Mass Change Dates. And here you can see we want to do a check all the Chapter 1 assignments here. They opened on July 27th at 3 a.m. Pacific time. And the end date is the due date, August 14th. Likewise, Chapter 2 opened August 3rd. They're due on the 21st. And you couldn't see, a student can't see 3.1, Chapter 3, because it doesn't open until the 10th of August. And today is only the 6th. And then they'll be due there. So that's how the that's how the dates work. From here, you can just go in and change any of the dates with the little calendar picker here. The start date is when these are available to students. The end date is the due date. Any assignments you're not going to teach, you can just click on the little by dates toggle, or the show toggle, I should say, and it's going to toggle between hidden and by dates. So if assignment is hidden, it won't be showing up in the gradebook. Students won't be able to see it. But if you hide something, student grades are not removed. You can always unhide it and grades are still there. If you delete something, which is also an option, and deleting's fine before the start of the school year, but deleted grades are very difficult to get back if you delete anything. So hiding is the preferred habit, I should say. So if we were to make some changes here, then we would just save changes, and those changes are reflected in the calendar. Okay. So what is Varsity Learning? Well, it's a learning platform, so you can upload your notes, you can upload test solutions if you want. There's a full-featured gradebook. Gradebooks can be set up however you want. You can do online homework. You can set up a category for quizzes. You can make quizzes worth 25%. You can make homework. I think everybody's making homework worth more during the pandemic because students don't want to cheat on their homework. So all the tests are worth less than they were. Is what I'm seeing. I'm talking to people around the country. And so let's do a little bit of math here. The final is going to be worth 15%. Is that right? I think that adds up to 100. Okay, so that's how we set up the gradebook. You can see here we can drop a number of low scores or keep the number of high scores. Probably best to do this at the end of the semester, not the beginning, so students have an accurate view of their grade and their grade goes up right at the end when you drop those scores. Okay, save those changes. Okay, great. We got some people enrolled. Fun. Okay, so I've got the gradebook set up. So what does an assignment look like? So these assignments are, I don't know if you noticed, but we're using the OpenStax Elementary Algebra template. So this is a course that includes not just these assignments, but a full access to the OpenStax ebook. So this is the XYZ homework version of the ebook. Just like you expect from a book, not too fancy like a lot of high school books are, but these are PDF files. This book is absolutely free. You're welcome to print these pages. It's part of the open source license. There's problem sets that follow these. I don't want to get too far into the OpenStax. We have another demo where we did a webinar with the OpenStax books a few weeks ago, so that's on the YouTube site, so that's available. We go into this. But there's a problem set. The odd answers are included with these, so if you want to do paper and pencil work, these books are great for that as well. But we have online homework, and that's really the most important feature of Varsity Learning and a great feature for a global pandemic, and here we are. So let's take a section, maybe 1.6, addition and subtraction of fractions. We look at it, and this is our template assignment. The teacher has all the ability to make changes to the questions that the students receive, um, the number of tries they get. But let me just show you how this works. So every student's going to get a different version of the problem. That's the important part of this. So where one student might have this problem, another student might have a little bit different problem, but with the same steps. Solve this. This is our new interface I'm showing. This works very well with mobile. So you can see the students type their answer. The fraction appears as they type it. This new tool here works really well on mobile. That's what these arrows are for. I don't know if you know, but cell phones and mobile devices don't have space and arrow keys. That's why we provided them here. So it'd be without a mouse, it'd be difficult to go from the numerator to the denominator. So these are to navigate the expressions that they're entering. Okay, and they just click out, submit the question, we'll get it right. Okay, so that was question 1. Students can skip around, go to any question they want. Maybe it'll be a little bit different on this time. So maybe we're not paying attention here. Submit this one, we get it wrong. Let's submit it again. Little error, I did not change. Okay, let's change it, get it wrong. So I don't know if you can see this over here, but here's some of the details of what's going on with this assignment. We have 0 out of 1 in the gradebook for this. We have 1 try remaining, and the teacher set this to 99 different versions. Okay. You can see there's a video lesson help available. So I can click the video lesson help and watch one of James Sousa's great videos on subtracting fractions. There's a written example. So his written examples are going to kind of show step by step how to do a similar problem, not the exact same problem. Okay, so a written example is a similar problem. Now I'm going to answer this incorrect again, just to show you. Okay, so I got it wrong again. Now I can show a detailed solution. So the detailed solution is similar to the written example, except the detailed solution is this problem. It's not a similar problem. Okay, so I got 0 out of 1 point. I want to try this number 4 again, so I can try a similar question here. And now it gives me a similar one. I can go in here. I think I know how to do it now. Submit it. And now we got that question correct in the gradebook. So that's really the heart of Varsity Learning is we have tens of thousands of these questions in here. They're algorithmically generated. They coincide with the questions in the OpenStax books. And then we have the regular Varsity Learning templates that are meant to be used with any high school textbook. Okay, so what features do we have for online learning? So let's go back into 1.6 here. I'm going to resume it. So I looked at the video. I looked at a written example. There's the ability to message my instructor. So this is going to go from one student to the instructor, which is useful, but you might be teaching a few hundred students and you don't want to be answering the same question over and over again. So message my instructor and post this question to a forum are very similar, but post to a forum is much more useful for most situations. So what it did is it's going to pre-format the subject line. It's going to tell everybody in class that this is a question about number 1 in section 1.6. Student can then write a little note. Says, please help, I don't know how to do this. And then they post that question. And then you're going to see who posted the question. So their name is attached. The student's name is attached to everything they do. It's going to cut down any funny business there. So we can go into this question. You see how the math is formatted very nicely here. This is going to work on any browser. There's no plugin required. It's going to work on mobile devices as well. And then the little reply button over here, anybody can reply to this. So they can reply, they get the little dialogue editor here. So students can type in an explanation. You can attach a file. So if you want to write the solution by hand, take a picture of it, and turn it into a PDF. You can attach it here. You can just attach the picture if you want. You can link to a different website. And then we also have some math tools. So the math tools come in handy. If you don't like to format the math, it's going to do it for you. You can. It's going to be calculator style entry. So it's not going to show up like the other expressions did necessarily. But this is the same type of formatting the students have to do if they're working in the graphing calculator still. So they type in the equation if they want, and there's also a little graphing utility. Pretty straightforward to use after you use it a few times. You can put a color on it, add a graph. Insert it. And then post that reply so you can see if this was a, thank you, Kendra. So you can see if this is a reply to a student. Everybody in class would have the benefit of seeing the discussion here, seeing the solution, if you went to a little bit of work to make sure the solution was seen by everybody. And then other people can see it as well. You have the ability to delete any replies that aren't appropriate. You can comment on other people's replies. There's a feature to turn on liking of these posts. And students are very comfortable with this. This is what they're doing online anyway. They're going on message boards, on social media, and they're posting things, so we're really tricking them into spending more time on task. So let's see. So that was, so all of the way the templates are set up, all the assignments in this chapter 1 are going to post to the chapter 1 forum. All the assignments in chapter 2 are going to post to the chapter 2 forum. We found through a lot of trial and error, that's about the right level of forums per assignment. So one forum per unit, one forum per chapter, rather than one forum per year or one forum per semester or one forum per assignment. Seems about right. So that is how the forums integrate with the homework assignments. Now, there's still a little bit more here. So we can modify these forums. We can name it whatever we want. So this is the forum that we have set up to go with chapter 1. I can turn on liking. I can let students modify their post. Maybe if there's been a problem, I want to turn that off so they can't change a post once they do it. So maybe I don't want to let students delete their own posts. So if they post something when I'm not paying attention, it stays there. They can't delete it. And then some other options here, some instructions if you want, but this is how we can integrate with the gradebook. So right now, I talk to a lot of teachers and they're trying to look for ways to evaluate their students on things other than tests, because tests and quizzes are a lot of times on the honor system now. They're doing it at home, they're doing them, they're not monitored. So people are looking for a way to change how courses are evaluating students. And participation is a great way to do that. So participation with these forums seems to be a logical step here. So we can count these in the gradebook. We can make this forum worth 5 points or 10 points. You can auto award. Maybe you don't want to do this to start. Maybe you want to get used to it before you can auto award points. This means that you don't have to go in and do anything. So we're not going to auto award, but you can add the points here, and then we want to put this in the gradebook category. You can have your own category for forums, or in this case, let's just put it under online homework. If you have a tutor in your class, you could have tutors, give it tutors access as well. I'm going to save these changes. And now when we go back into the chapter 1 forum, nope, I still click on the wrong thing sometimes. Chapter 1 forum, here it is. So you can see now we have a student. I'm the teacher, right? I've logged in as the teacher. I'm the teacher of this course. Now I can give Kendra a score that's going to go right in the gradebook. and some feedback directly to her. Okay, so now I can save the grades and view previous, save grades. So I just scored that in the gradebook. I go into the gradebook here as the teacher, and this is going to be the Chapter 1 forum, 5 points. I just gave Kendra 5 points, and here it is. So I can give everybody credit here if I want as well. And here's my feedback. So this is the gradebook. If you're in the gradebook and you think it's getting a little unwieldy, this toggle switch, this toggles drop down, I can go locked. Then it's going to lock everybody's name over here on the left and let you scroll through all the assignments here. Also, what I'd like to mention about the gradebook, this first assignment, we actually just type the name of it, Intro to Varsity Learning. You can kind of see in the gradebook, that looks okay, but you can see if there's a lot of it, it's hard to read, right? A gradebook's something where you want to have a lot of things here. So we've just named our sections with the number. We haven't put any, tried to make them as short as possible, and that's how they show up here. Okay. So that was kind of a lot to cover. We went into the gradebook. We set up the gradebook from settings. We added categories here. We gave those categories a weight. We've had our gradebook set up by weight. We saved that. We went into the assignment. One of the assignments, we posted some questions to the forum. All the assignments in chapters are set up to be linked to the forum. And then we connected the forum to the gradebook and integrated it that way. I'd love to open it up to some questions now. You can type them in the chat. You can ask away. So we've done a number of these webinars this summer to get everybody ready. So there should be a lot of material on how to get started. If you and other colleagues at your school are interested in using Varsity, we encourage you to set up a private webinar with us. Just use that support@varsitylearning.com. One of us will get back to you. Maybe we'll schedule an hour. You'll have some kind of detailed questions about your course setup and the content and how to use Varsity at that time, and we can kind of get into the specifics of that. These are just meant to be little quick webinars that we're going to post on YouTube, get other people interested, answer some basic questions that arise. Show your work feature. Thank you. Yes, so there is a show your work feature. That's the question. So I think we have this turned off. So I can go into any assignment, go into settings, and help and hints. I don't want to do that. Access control, grading and feedback, count and gradebook. This is a new feature, and even I get right here. Provide show your work boxes. During assessment, yes. During or after. Yep. Okay. So now I've got that provide, so it's under additional display options, provide show work boxes. So this is only available in the new assessment engine. So if you're creating a course, make sure you make a copy of any old courses and check the box to use the new assessment. And then it's going to be under additional display options. Once that's in there, so I went into 5. So if anybody wanted to go into 1.5 and work a problem, you see there is the ability for a student to click add work. And this is the same dialog box here. They add their work here. They can upload a PDF file, attach a picture. They can use the math symbols to type their work out if you'd like, or enter a graph. Then in the gradebook for 1.5, next to every student's name, you'll click on, I guess you'll click on the score for 1.5 for that student, and then you'll be able to see the work there. Okay, let's see if anybody's done that. 1.5, anybody in 1.5? So if anybody wants to go in 1.5 and do a show work, then we'd all be able to see it. Anybody who's enrolled as a student, I turned the show work on for 1.5. I can turn it on for everything. That might be easier. This is the mass change assessment. I'm going to continue to change settings. I only want to change one thing here. During assessment, apply changes. Okay, so any assessment now you go into. Okay, new question from Erica. Do you have assigned points to a forums when you create the forum? So no, when the forums are created, the integrate with Gradebook is turned off. You probably have to assign points though if you want it at the same time you integrate it with the Gradebook. So right now, Chapter 2 forum we haven't done anything with. We scroll down and we see this is not counted in the Gradebook. So as soon as we say yes, then we need to give it a point total. So forums can just be forums without integration with the Gradebook. Once you decide to integrate it with the Gradebook, then you have to assign points and assign a category. Or you can make an extra credit, or you can hide it from students for now. Yeah. What would not work is to go in and have it be worth 1 point now, and then have a whole bunch of students go in and where you give them 1 point for their work, and then decide a week later that you really want it to be worth the same forum to be worth 5 points. So once you award the points, you don't want to change the points available here. You can certainly change the points available on the Chapter 3 forum, but you can't go back in and change the points available on the Chapter 2 forum once you've started assigning points. Yep. Any other questions people have? I think we're going to do another one of these next week, the live poll feature. A lot of you are doing Zoom meetings. Live poll, I don't know if anybody wants to click on the LP here, but live poll, let's see if this works. So this is like Zoom, but it's a live poll. I'm going to use show results as they come on. Let's see if this works. So live poll is you're doing an online class via Zoom, and it's at the same time every day, and you pull up a question. So it's a little tricky because students are going to have the Zoom with your screen, and then they're going to have the Zoom with their own Varsity Learning. And if anybody is logged into this, I'm going to click Open Student Input. And now anybody who's logged into this course is going to see this question. And then I should see the results as people start to answer. Okay. No one's going to be tested here. So it looks like I have 2 students on here. And as the students' replies come in on this screen, we kind of get to see what their answers are as they do this. And then on their screen, they're seeing the same question. So I'm going to close student input. Looks like they both got it right. So this is the live poll. This is great because what if I'm doing this in class and everybody got the wrong answer? With a different kind of polling, you would have to have this question set up ahead of time. But with the algorithmic engine in Varsity Learning, we can just click create or generate a similar question. And it's still on question 1, right? It's the same steps here, as you can see. Open student input again, and now we have a new one to change. Close student input. Let's go on to question 2. Okay. So these work best with multiple choice type questions or graphing. Did I put one in here for graphing? So I was going to do a whole webinar on this next week with the live polling. We'll get some other questions in here as well. So live polling, an exciting feature. You're going to want to start out easy with that. Make sure your students are comfortable going on Zoom, comfortable with Varsity before you throw that at them. But that's a little preview of what's coming next week. So kind of go into the depths of that. It might be a 45-minute webinar next week. Okay. Any other questions before we go? Really appreciate everybody's time. I'm going to send out this recording. If you have any questions, you need help setting up a class, you want to get your department involved, we can do a private webinar. Just email us at support@varsitylearning.com. Thanks, everybody.